I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hey, Patrick. All right. Is there anybody who wants to speak, call to the audience? See anybody here? All right. Do we have a motion to approve minutes from March 5th?
I'll move that we move the minutes as distributed.
Any seconds?
I'll stick it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. And I think we will go around and do introductions and maybe we will start up here at the front of the table. Do you want to?
Hi, Laura Lopez. I'm in the class right now. Your secretary. I'm Anissa Bertha, I'm Deputy Director for Community Engagement.
Hello, I'm probably Maggie Jaglinch, Library Services Manager representing public services and customer experience.
Ana Sanchez, Library Board representing District 5.
John Halliday, Library Board, District 1.
Mary Ann O'Neill, District 2.
Cam, what is District 5?
That's Mayor, Library Director.
Isaiah Centeno, Deputy Director of Finance and Facilities.
Devin Robles, Library Technology.
Holly Schaefer, Communication Specialist. Nicole Scott, Program Manager for FEMA Early Education Program.
Hi, Rhonda Pena, Deputy Director for Community and Workforce Development.
Karen Williams, President of the FEMA Library Foundation.
And the board members online, could you say hello?
Hello, this is Patrick Andrews. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, yes,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Hey, Mariana Padillas, District 2.
And I see Catherine. So, all right, thank you all. I think
Catherine
I-
Thompson, District 1.
Thank you. All right, do any of the board members want to comment on activities or library-related visits, things like that over the last month?
I can do. Had a couple of interactions with library staff, so that was kind of fun. We did have to postpone the event that we had scheduled for tomorrow, so had another great call with Christine, such a pro, so she took care of me. Also, I was at the fourth and final installment of District 5 Supervisor Economy's Lava Lectura event, and so that was pretty awesome. And of course, the staff was there. And let's see here, there was another space where I saw them as well. So, it was the books. No, I'm sorry, baby bugs. Butterflies, no, bugs, bats, and bebidas. And that was at the food banks, Las Milpitas. So that was fun to see them there as well. So yeah, pretty much when I get out doing an engagement event at the library is present. So it's really nice to see folks out and about. And I think that's about all I have to.
Well, I visited the South Tucson Library as a customer, but it was so nice to see the staff I hadn't seen in a while. And the library was very busy, lots of folks in, using the computers and such. And I got to visit with them and learn that they have a new library manager. We were very excited about it. So it was nice to see this. Yeah, the library looked very nice.
I went to the Festival of Books to the Nuestras Raíces tent and the Alvaro Enrique and Luis Alberto Urrea talk, and I just want to congratulate the staff on getting these like big names and just a really nice event, really well attended. I didn't get to buy a book because I waited too long and they sold out. So just congrats to the team, and it was really cool.
Anybody else? It was a very busy book festival. I saw you there. Working hard. All right. Great. All right, Karen, do you have a report from the foundation?
Yeah, just a brief one. We were part of the library's booth at the festival. It was great. I love it where I get to sit. I hear all the talks. It's like a really nice seat going on. I also was too late and didn't get the book I wanted to buy because they were sold out, but that was a good thing. We had books to give away. We had a lot of people stopping by. We had a print that was being raffled off. And then a lot of people come by because we had we look for the friends of the library. When they have books left over there, we can take them for them taking. And then we have lots of people come to the table because they want their free books. And cool, you know, we get their addresses and contact information. We are in the process of doing our strategic planning for next year. And we are doing a bigger process than we have ever done in the past. We're using the SOAR method, which is strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and results. And we've got big aspirations for raising money for the libraries next year. So we're looking forward to wrapping that up. That's
It's wonderful. Penny, are you on the line?
I'm sorry I had gotten a phone call just as you asked me. We have a couple of things to say. This weekend, we're having our annual luncheon and meeting, and happy to have Tess going to speak at it for the first time as library director. We also, within the next week or two, will be giving her a check for $58,000. We always like to do that. And just wanted to remind you that our member sales are coming up April 18th and 19th, and our community sales the 24th through the 27th. And we also want to thank the library. We finally got a delivery of books, and our hallway is just overflowing with boxes. So we're really looking forward to that working in a regular schedule. That's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Penny. New business. We have Nicole and Peeps.
Hi. Okay. Okay, all right. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. It's Thursday. The week's almost over. Again, my name's Nicole Scott. I'm the program manager for Pima County's preschool initiative, what we call PEEPS because it's cute and it's preschool, right? Well, I did it right. Okay. It's exciting. So PEEPS is structured around two main goals, and some of you may have heard this presentation a couple of years ago, I think. Or if you're like Cam, you've heard it in something else. But we have two primary goals for this program. One, to increase the number of 3 to 5 year olds in high quality preschool programs, and two, to increase the number of high quality preschool providers in Pima County. We can't fill the seats if we don't have enough seats. So we have to make sure that we are impacting the system in both of those ways. This is not just Pima County on our own. And this graphic here, I wanted to share with you all to see that this is a multi-pronged approach effort. And we really braid funding as much as possible to ensure that we're serving as many children as we can in our region. And we do this through PEEPS is school district classes, preschool scholarships, and Head Start classes. And these are all of the benefactors for that area. And then this purple one over here is run through our United Way of Tucson and Southern Arizona Accelerate Quality Program with the wonderful Monica Brinkerhoff, who's the Associate Vice President over there of Early Childhood Operations. And this is for those private donations that Pima County wasn't able to take in when PEEPS was created. And so we had a lot of folks say, hey, how can we help as well? And so United Way created the Accelerate Quality Program. And what they do with those funds is they help providers get up to high quality so that they have access to our scholarships and can provide more high quality programming to our children and families. Sorry. We do have a set of guiding principles that were created in 2021 in partnership with United Way of Tucson and Southern Arizona, with our Pima County administration folks, and then with some other early childhood advocates, just to make sure that we were hitting necessary points and making sure that we had some guiding principles that sort of kept the work in line. We will be revisiting some of our guiding principles in this next fiscal year, just to make sure that we are still on the right track, or if programming has changed to update some of those guiding principles as well. And there are a lot, so I'm not going to read all of them, but I think the most important thing for us to know is that we're maximizing multi-year partnerships. We're advocating with partners for long-term statewide solutions. This isn't just something that Pima County should be doing on their own. So we're continuing to advocate with both local, regional, and state partners, and hopefully coming soon, national partners as well, because this is an all-hands-on approach and a public good, and it's not just our responsibility on our own. And so that, I think, is one of the most important pieces of our guiding principles for programming. Okay. This is our multi-pronged approach. So childcare in Arizona is a mixed delivery system. We want to make sure that families have choice of where they're sending their children, to make sure that they're comfortable with the provider that they're sending them to. And so when PEEPS was created, it was created in a way that we were getting dollars out quickly, and also in a way where we just bought into our existing mixed delivery system. We wanted parents and families to still have the options of putting their children where they can go, and did that in 3 ways. Though the mixed delivery system in Arizona is much bigger than these 3 areas, these were the 3 areas that we were able to get dollars out quickly with contracted agency partners as well as our school districts. So we created brand new school district classrooms on both elementary and high school campuses. So that brought in jobs for teachers, because it's brand new teachers for those classrooms. It brought in extra space for up to 20 children per classroom. And it put them right there on the campus where they're going into kindergarten, or where they have siblings already in those K-5 classes, which was really great. We also worked with our local Head Start grantee, which here in Pima County is Child Parent Centers. And if you're familiar with Head Start is about a 3.5-hour day, but it's a nationally recognized high quality program. So we wanted to make sure that we were serving our Head Start families as well. So we contracted with our local Head Start grantee and made that day longer. So they're still getting those comprehensive Head Start services for a longer period of time. So now those kids are in those preschool environments for a minimum of 6 hours with that Head Start comprehensive model. We partnered with Head Start and Pima Community College to create what you may know as the Desert Vista campus. That class is PEEPS funded in partnership with Pima Community College for the infrastructure, as well as Head Start, who operates those classes. So they're getting the comprehensive Head Start model, and it's our students at PCC that are able to take their children into that class. That class is dedicated for students of Pima Community College or faculty that are income eligible that are on that campus as well. The really cool thing is that after our preschool classroom was created on that campus, Pima Community College was really invested in this and worked further with child parent centers. And now they have an infant and toddler classroom on that campus as well that serves up to 10 children. So now Desert Vista is 0 to 5, which is really special. And then our last piece, which is one of our biggest pieces of programming, is we bought into the state's quality rating system, which here is Arizona's First Things First Quality First Scholarships. The reason we bought into this system and contracted directly with First Things First is because, one, they are our state's recognized quality system for early childhood providers. And two, it was a way for us to get scholarships and dollars out to over 100 providers without having to do direct contracts with each provider. It also helped the providers on their end because it wasn't a new system they had to report into. It was a system they were already using, already reporting into, and they were able to just utilize that system as well with our scholarships. Now, if we talk about the breakdown of the budget, the majority of our budget is split between our school district contracts and our First Things First scholarships. And the reason is because our Quality First scholarships make up a little bit more than 50% of the children that we serve. And then our school districts is right underneath that. We currently have 36 school district classes across the region within 6 school districts and Pima Community College. And then our Head Start extended hours, though it's that comprehensive because we're just doing extended day, it comes in right about $2 million of the budget, which is still a really good amount of money, but for those services is really amazing for the things that we're able to do. I talk really, really fast and just gave you so much information, so I'm going to pause to see if there's any questions before we move forward.
Are we supposed to be seeing a slide that has numbers, like the budget on it?
No, you should be seeing a core component slide.
Okay, great. That we are.
Okay. That's a good question. In 2022, we did a parent satisfaction and feedback survey. We will be launching the survey again, hopefully before the end of this school year. We wanted to make sure that the parents of our children that were in these spaces were satisfied with the programming thus far, and if there was anything else that they were getting out of it. We had a huge number of responses. Over 700 families responded to this questionnaire, which we were not anticipating, but was really lovely. And over 95% of them were very satisfied with the improvements of their child's development. And then some of them even noted that enrolling their child into the PEAPS classroom gave them employment opportunities or opportunities for them to go back to school. And so we're hoping that when we roll out another parent feedback survey this year, that we get some good responses from that as well. And we're going to be focusing on quality of life as well. So were you able to purchase a house or a car? Were you able to move yourself up? And hoping we can get some good data from that too. Last year, we noted some developmental data, which is really fun to see. We are now in our 5th year of PEAPS, and so we wanted to be able to share what our PEAPS in our school district classes have been doing as far as testing wise and their developmental progress. And we highlighted 2 of our school districts in this past annual report, and we'll hopefully have more school districts to highlight in this year's coming report on their data. But these were 2 of our cohorts from our Floydwell School District. They use Acadience data, which is on letter fluency, phonemic segmentation, and oral language skills. And as you can see, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, the progress is wonderful. It's amazing to see. And this is from our 1st year cohort of PEAPS, and then this was from the 2nd year. And so compared to their non-PEAPS students, they're above what that percentage is for their Acadian skills testing in both of those areas. And so that's really good data for us to know. And as we keep track of for the longitudinal data and tracking our kiddos up through. We also highlighted our Marana School District, which does some literacy development as well. They look at fluency and phoneme isolation as well as the onset rhyme. And their data came back as well in a really good spot for our PEEPS students from that cohort from the third year of PEEPS. What we're hoping to provide this year in our annual report is our first year of PEEPS, are now third graders. And so now we understand the emphasis on literacy in third grade, and there's some data to track that. And so we're hoping to be able to show that now, because now our PEEPS from that first year are in third grade. And so we're hoping to be able to get some of those test data results back so that we can share that in our annual report and really just show the importance of high quality programming and this program as well. Just a couple of program highlights of the program overall. Since we started in 2021, we've served over 5,000 individual preschool age children here in Pima County. We serve roughly around 1,500 kids per year. This year, we're serving about 1,560 was my last number, I believe. But we also don't do this on our own. We do this on a system-wide approach. So system-wide, all of the high-quality preschool opportunities here in Pima County, together with our partners, we are serving over 5,000 children this year, which is really important.
My, that's my doorbell.
You got a package, man. We also track the number of high quality providers in our region. And when we started tracking in 2021, we received the number from Department of Economic Security Child Care Administration, which I think their name is different now, but and we were at 199 high quality providers in Pima County. As of June of 2025, there's now 307. And that's due in part to both PEEPS as well as the Accelerate Quality program through the United Way and those private donations to help get those providers up to high quality. It's really, really cool. Now, all that to say, all that wonderful stuff to say, we're only here. We still have a long way to go to serve the children here in Pima County that are eligible, income eligible for high quality access. Now, this is just a 60% uptake. There are more than 13,000 children here in Pima County between the ages of 3 and 5 that need high quality support. In partnership with First Things First, Department of Economic Security, Head Start, and ourselves, we are serving 41% of the need. We would love to serve 100% of the need, and that takes us diversifying our funding, which is an effort that we are doing right now with the Supercharged PEEPS effort. It takes us getting that national recognition to get those philanthropic dollars nationally. We have applied for a National Association of Counties award to hopefully help get that recognition here. And it also takes an all hands on decks approach in advocacy as well. We are working closely with a Tucson advocate team, and we stay in contact with a state advocate early childhood team as well, just to ensure that we're all on the same track and able to get as many children into high quality seats as possible. And that's what I've done. Any questions or clarifications? Yeah.
I'm just curious to know how families find out about the programs.
Absolutely. So this number right here. So we have had a great partnership with Tucson's Child and Family Resources, who oversee the state's child care resource and referral. And since the beginning, we have directed all of our families to that resource and referral line. And they have actually dedicated a team specific to answer the phone when families call 24/7, so that they can connect them to our providers, as well as regular quality first providers or DES providers. We sent families to this number specifically because that's where the entire state's providers go, and so they have access to that. So if a family may not have a preschool age child, but they have an infant, those folks will be able to help them as well. You can also find, families can also find any of this information on our website. And my phone number's on there, my desk phone number's on there, and I often get a lot of phone calls, looking for TUSD or looking for AMFI, and I will just get them straight to our representatives. Sometimes I get home repair calls and I just send them to. That was a good question. Thank you. Anything else? Yeah, okay.
So first and foremost, thank you for coming. I was really happy to see you guys on the agenda. Obviously, this is pretty important to all districts, I think, to the entire county. But as you know, libraries are holders of knowledge and our responsibility as the advisory board. You know, I was trying to figure out what the quote was. It was in my head, and it was, I ended up finding it. An educated citizenry is a vital requisite for survival as a free people. Basically, you know, the more educated that we become, the earlier we become, the better democracy is served. You know, it's no coincidence that public education is constantly being attacked by folks who don't want to spend the resources on people. You know, what does this have to do with the library system? Is that this information probably is available at public libraries. I know that I've seen it at the One Stop for Pima County. And I think you said it in your presentation, the folks specifically at Pima College, the folks that are going to Pima College or work at Pima College, and the fact that they work and they still qualify for this programming says a whole lot to what's being done. I know preschool education did a huge, it was a huge benefit to our son's education, but my son had a lot of friends in school, throughout school in the last few years, that didn't have two parents that had college degrees, didn't have two parents that had full-time jobs.
Yeah.
And so he was always like, I remember a particular day when I said, hey, why is your cafeteria account so low? I just put money there. I had to buy lunch for a couple of kids because they didn't have resources to eat.
Yeah.
And so I say all of that because I think ultimately the libraries, as I've heard and have known myself over years and years, is that it's a sanctuary. And I think you know, I'll be frank, I don't know all of the particulars, but I do know that there is an elephant in the room with PEEPS and public library funding. So I won't get into it because I don't know very much about it, but I do want to address it, and I do want to say that I hope we can figure it out. And thanks for the presentation, because that makes me understand a little better that there's efforts for other funding and other sustainability moving forward. But I do want to address that because I think it's important. But at the end of the day, I'm really glad to know that all of us here know a little bit more about the program. So thank you for coming.
Absolutely, and thank you for those comments, and send me that quote, because that's a really good one. And I think also just to note, you know, you are welcome to come visit any of our PEEP sites. Our teachers and our children actually really love it. When you come and see those spaces, and it just hits a little different when you get to see those spaces and you get to hear the conversations that are happening in those classrooms. And we are always happy to provide any updates that you need, any updates that you would like to see. Our supercharged PEEP efforts are underway right now with diversifying our funds, and we are looking at some other things that we can be doing this next fiscal year. We are also starting a sliding scale fee for our school district classrooms, which will charge a minimal fee for families that are above 200%. We don't want to charge any fees for families that are 200% or below the federal poverty level, but those that are in that middle income, we're hoping that we can generate enough funds from that to build more classrooms without having to hit more of the budget before we diversify any more funds. And so that's a way that we're trying to grow and increase that thermometer without necessarily hitting any more budget lines. So we are trying to be creative as possible in doing that. The other thing to note, though, is even if a family is identified between that 200 and 300%, we will not turn them away if they cannot pay that tuition, because these classes were created for them to have a place to go so they can continue. Parents can continue their educational journeys, or they can continue their career pathways. So even though we are going to impact that sliding scale and with the hopes that we get to grow and serve more kids, We won't turn families away because we're just not in the business to do that. Yes, Kim.
I mean, we have a whole bunch of folks from community engagement table. Is there anything happening with these families where library cards, for example, are being promoted? Library services are being promoted?
Yeah, so we have a few school districts that do like field trips to some of their libraries that are close, which I think is really cool. As far as like promoting library cards, I don't know if those are in all of our classrooms, but our program directors and teachers are always happy to share those things. So if you give those to me, I would get those to them. I think those are really great. We also, I also sit on the steering committee for Pima County Connecting Children to Nature, and we have some library folks on that. Cam, you've been to a few of those things as well. And so that's just connecting all of those resources together. I sit on First Focus as Kids Coalition as well. And again, so we're trying to connect families to as many opportunities as possible, but getting library information into those classrooms, I would love to do that and have that in there too. Most of our programs work with Make Way for Books, and we just did a huge donation drive to Make Way for Books, and our teachers were able to go pick up free books as well for their classrooms, and that was really exciting. And we're hoping to continue our partnerships with them in other ways when we start to diversify our funding and make sure that our teachers are getting some supports as well. Yeah.
So, I understand that first things first, we're utilizing their scholarship mechanism. Do they provide funding for scholarships as well?
They do. So, I don't know if you're aware, First Things First is a state agency that's funded through tobacco tax funds. And though it's a wonderful thing that a lot of people are not smoking anymore, it also kind of hurts early childhood education programming. So yes, they do provide scholarships to Quality First providers in excess of what we provide, but we have started to see those numbers decrease, especially with the ARPA dollars expiring. There was this beautiful influx and everyone got to see how beautiful a system was across all departments, right, with ARPA dollars. And then it sort of just went away. And so everyone's understanding and dealing with what that looks like now. So yes, they do provide scholarships in excess to what we provide. But this year was a 59% decrease in our region.
And is there anybody, I think in other states, they've started to add smokeless tobacco products to that. Is that in the hopper for Arizona?
Yeah, so First Things First did last legislative cycle, and I believe this one as well. They have a bill in there for the vaping and Miranda tax, but we don't think it's moving through. But they did propose last legislative session and this one. So they are also in the same boat. We are trying to diversify their funds too. And figure that piece out as well. But they are working on that at the state level too.
Well, I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Wonderful program. And preschool education is just a great investment in public funds. So certainly worthwhile. You mentioned, that you're looking at regional and state and federal options. Realistically, I mean, what do you think? I was discouraged earlier this week or last week, every week I'm discouraged, but about the federal government basically saying children now aren't our responsibility anymore, it's a state responsibility. So, realizing the politics here in Arizona and regionally, what kind of options do you see for PEEPs over the long haul? It seems like at this point, the county has done a good job of cobbling together some federal funds and library district funds and donations and that kind of thing. But that doesn't seem like a long-term solution, especially when, like you said, we're only meeting about 40% of the need.
Yeah, so to be honest, for us to grow, to meet 100% of that need, we are actually going to have to get business and philanthropic investments. I, like you, am saddened to see federal government changes every single day. But to be honest with you, I would say that philanthropic and that business investment is really going to be what will be the game changer. for us going forward. We have very strong support regionally, and we have very strong support across the state. And I have just recently joined a cohort of, it's called Kitties for Cities. It's really weird, but it is 6 cities across Arizona that are working to try to figure out how to invest in preschool because they know it's a public good with the current climate that we're in. And so we are working with those 6 other regions, and hopefully we'll come together and have a strong enough voice statewide that we can get further investment. We did get a win at 19 million, wasn't 100 that we asked for. But we did get a win, get 19 million at the state legislature this year for DS childcare. And we've got some really great advocates groups. And the one thing that Pima County does really well, I don't know if you've noticed, we do really well bringing our business friends along with us in conversations. And I think that's something that the rest of the state sort of looks at us for, like, how'd you do that? Can you tell us how to do that? And so we are telling them how to do it. Hoping that they can get their business community folks to join hands with them, and then that way we have that strong platform to stand on. But I will say, I think that philanthropic piece is going to be the piece that's really going to make the difference. And with the NACO award, hoping us to get that national recognition, that's where it'll come from.
Do you think your group will come up with some tax legislation that we could support?
So the Supercharged Peeps effort does have a working group related to tax legislation. Michael Diamond of the Chamber, they have a new name.
The Southern Chamber.
The Southern Chamber of Arizona. I always get it wrong. But Michael Diamond from the Chamber leads that working group. Currently, they are looking at the 45F tax for small business owners and their employees. And then they are working on some other cost model, shared cost model strategies that we will be sharing out. But I have a lot of good faith with Michael Guyman. He's been a good supporter of this program in early childhood education since inception. And he's got a great team behind him. And the chamber recognized early childhood and preschool this year in their strategies. And so we're really hoping that we can get some good info out of that. And I'm happy to share any Supercharged Peeps working group information that you might want, so you can stay on track of that too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's a hand raised online.
Oh.
Catherine Thompson.
Yes, hi, Catherine Thompson, District 1. 2 questions, actually. My first question is there a way to, instead of having the kids come to the Peeps site, can Peeps go to the families or virtually work with the families online? And that's my first question. And my second question is, are there any fundraising programs going on, such as, some, nonprofit type fundraising to kind of backfill the loss of the tax funding? Thank you.
Absolutely. So to answer your question 1, as best as I can, Peeps is set up to be a place for families to drop off children for that high quality preschool experience so that parents can further their career or educational pathways. We do not currently have it set up as a way for parents to stay home with students to do educational programming. However, that doesn't mean we don't provide home educational programming with our partnerships with First Things First, with Head Start, and with Make Way for Books. Families take home lots of things from classrooms, but currently Peeps does not operate in the home. It operates physically in centers or school district campuses or Head Starts. For your second question, the current Supercharged Peeps campaign, which is led by the Preschool Promise Working Group, is that fundraising effort at the present time. We also, as a county, have been looking into some other grants or types of things that we could apply for Peeps programming, and that's that diversifying funding piece. We do not have a fundraising effort necessarily, more so the advocacy group working to bring in those funds, us looking at new grants and things like that that may pertain to this. And then hopefully in the future, a Friends of CWD nonprofit where PEEPs can be one of those items that folks can donate to.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Anyone else, questions?
Doesn't sound.
Nicole, does the county currently offer to their employees a full childcare preschool benefit?
Currently, no. The county as an employer is looking into several different things. If you are paying attention to any of the administrative policies that have been proposed, there is one in there for a childcare stipend for employees. And it is not set on salary specific. It is for all employees that we have written for, hopefully to be approved in the next budget cycle, for families with children between the ages of 0 and 5 to be able to receive that stipend so that that can pay for childcare expenses. The other thing is we increased our income eligibility to 300% because we realized in year one that didn't even serve our families where we were at. And so we wanted to make sure that when we increased, we were able to serve our county employees in those PEEP spots as well. So getting them access to PEEPs, we proposed the childcare stipend program for this next budget cycle. And then the third thing that we're doing is working with Child and Family Resources on a childcare navigation tool. But as far as a full comprehensive childcare benefit, we are not that far on the road.
It would be good if the county set a good example.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're hoping that the stipend program gets approved in the budget. We have approved it, but we know budget cycles are really, really hard to go through and there's checks and balances. So we are hopeful and we are hopeful that the county can set that standard being 7,000 employees strong. But I'm just, for the moment, this is what I'm doing.
Well, yes. Thank you for all the information.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when your annual report is prepared, you could, convey that.
Yeah, absolutely. Tetsu sits on our PEEPs advisory, internal advisory group, or I don't know what we call them. Task Force Committee, I'm not sure, receives that report, but I am happy to get printed copies to everyone as well. Thank you guys so much. If it's okay, I'm gonna jet to my son's baseball game. Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay. And next, we will hear about the downtown library.
Thank you. I guess that's me. So we have really exciting news to report. As of the Tuesday's Board of Supervisors meeting, a contract was approved with Line and Space to provide for architectural and engineering design services for the downtown library relocation. So I actually asked Devin to preload some examples of Line and Space's architecture. They are very, well, one thing that's really great about them is they're local, and we have worked with them actually on a lot of projects. You're probably familiar with them. And I think they definitely addressed the concern around making sure that the historic facade and the features that still remain in the building, that there's a lot of care and attention to working with those elements. Although I will say that in general, a lot of the building inside is, I think some of you have gone on the tour and seen the interior doesn't really include a lot of historic elements, just a few, like the stairway.
70s fun.
Some historical areas that we do not want to preserve. So This is really exciting news for us. I think a lot of people have been very eager to understand what is the timeline. I know that the staff have really wanted to understand what we're looking at. And now that we've entered into business with a firm, we'll be able to establish a project timeline and we'll have a kickoff meeting. And I think that there'll really be some fun interactive elements around this, just in terms of engaging with you all, engaging with the community, engaging with staff around the future library. So we're kind of moving closer to the fun part, which is everybody describes what they're, well, you know, what they're invested in seeing in the new library. And, you know, we're just excited to finally be able to get started, because we are getting started a few months later than we had originally anticipated.
And are they currently working on any library projects right now?
Well, sure, yes.
Oh, that was that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's great that you're hiring someone who's so much public library experience.
Oh, yeah.
And also, a lot of local experience too, yeah.
How they incorporated the bowling lanes in the Northwest, center there.
I used to go and see that.
Yeah,
I'm not
there's a
familiar
picture
with
up there,
that.
a little bit at the very top.
Yeah, that's unique, isn't it?
Yep,
Uh,
yeah, for those of us who grew up.
It was a bowling alley?
Mhm.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
It's Richard views at the bottom.
Oh, is it? Oh, I saw the orange.
Good job.
Oh, and that's getting ahead of things, but we'll cover.
Yeah, well, we have good news on that front as well.
Well, they sure know how to work with the county. That's good.
So what's the timeline on this?
So, I think that we'll need to wait to provide an actual project time. But our next stage is to have a kickoff meeting where we determine the timing and when some of these things are gonna happen. We really just need to develop a project schedule. And I hope to, I think we're gonna have to start working very quickly to identify how, and when we're gonna do different community engagement activities. So, you know, please stay tuned for that. One thing that Laura has been reminding me of, this is a little bit more into my other report, but that, you know, the library advisory board usually does a retreat. And I've been wanting to schedule that around something more substantive, where I think that people will want to be providing feedback. And so I'm not sure if this might be that kind of opportunity, if we can schedule something around the new library or potentially the strategic plan, but that's just something I wanted to address, and it sort of relates to this, because I know that you all have different perspectives around public libraries, different experiences with public libraries, what we might want to be considering with this project, because I think it is such a significant project, but, yeah, it's good news. I just might say that this has happened. Thank you.
I don't know if you'll be touching on this, but do you have any news about what the present state of this facility will be?
No, at this point, I don't have additional information about it. We haven't heard any follow-up from the tour that was held here, that was coordinated by the city of Tucson for different stakeholders who might want to submit they weren't RFPs, they were like requests for information, sort of people sharing information about how they envision the building. We haven't really heard much more about that process yet.
But wait, wasn't there like 70 different potential, you know, like 70 people had signed up to show interest? It was a huge
In
list.
terms of what they
Yeah,
received,
yeah.
yeah. I think it will be quite a complex process, and I also know that the city of Tucson is continuing to pursue the, trying to identify a place for a cultural center or possible museum, so I think that that's kind of also in the mix as well.
Anything else about the downtown library?
Yeah, I have a question. And so I feel like a few months ago, we talked about doing something to get a consultant to do the community engagement. Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, so we were talking with the different design firms around how they might either embed an expert who would be doing that or provide that expertise themselves. And we haven't really hammered out the details with the architect yet in terms of how that service is gonna be delivered, but that was very clearly articulated as a need.
So it's tied to the architect.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Thank
tied to the design process, yeah. I also just want to add, because I forgot to mention this, that the RFP process for the selection of the construction firm is also, it's underway and, I don't know when it's gonna near completion, but it's gone through like most of the phases in terms of getting down to finalists and interviews with finalists, and, so that's also moving forward. And I think it's a really positive thing because they will be needing to work really closely with the design team. So I think that it'll be a good partnership there. As soon as they're identified, then they'll be able to coordinate more directly with the architect. And I had also mentioned this before, but just attention to the historic qualities of the building and sensitivity around historic restoration was a criteria that was considered in that process as well.
And Catherine, did you want to say something?
Yes, I have a question. Tess, could you please repeat what you said about stakeholders? I didn't quite get the gist of the comments that you were saying. I think it was circled around community input and public. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yeah, we're just wanting to make sure that we have a schedule and a plan for different opportunities for members of the public to provide feedback about the new building. Or not so much the new building, but the new library.
Okay.
So we don't have that schedule yet, but we'll be
Okay.
developing it, and I do think it'll be important to provide the board with that opportunity as well.
Very good. Thank you.
One more thing, sorry. I think that there was an invitation. I know that the District 5 representatives have already gone on a tour, and has everyone else already gone on a tour? So if there's interest and we can communicate about this offline as well, we can always coordinate another tour, if people are interested in seeing what the current structure looks like.
I would be interested. Is it too soon to ask Line and Space to facilitate a tour?
It's a little too soon,
No.
but we can also wait and do that after they have more time to sort of get involved in the project. We can definitely do that. So maybe wait and wait a couple, like a month or so. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no rush. Yeah, I'd like to see it too. I've never been in there, but there's no rush.
Okay.
But at least for me, there isn't, but it's what do you think,
Been
maybe?
there a long time.
Yeah, a couple of months from now.
Me too. Anyone else online have any questions or comments on that? Okay. I guess we're ready for Holly, Community Relations.
Hi, everyone. I don't have a lot, but we are accepting submissions for our call to artists. So if you know an artist who works in Pima County of all ages, they're eligible to apply. There is a blog post on our website. You'll find it on the left-hand side under news, has all the information and instructions. And speaking of exhibits, our very own Carolina Cables, our designer, we all know Carolina, she has her exhibit downstairs. Oh, and it's incredible. It's up April and May, so please go and check out her artwork. It's really incredible. Speaking of art, we also have a blog post on the website about the winners of the 31st Annual High School Art Invitational. I thought this was a really fun fact. We had 89 students participate, and they came from the classrooms of 21 teachers from 14 schools.
Wow.
So it was really a wide effort. It was really neat. This month is Arab American Heritage Month. There are two things I want to point out on the website. We have a really great book list of titles by Arab American authors or those shedding light on the Arab heritage experience. Two team members, the Welcome to America team, Nikki and Talia, interviewed a Lebanese sculptor here in Tucson. His name is Ibrahim Kazaka, and it's a great Q&A. It's also on the website on the left-hand side, so you can check that out and see some of his work. There's a lot of great images in the blog post. So those are my things. Any questions?
I think you did a good job promoting our involvement in the Festival of Books, because it was very.
Yes, yes, it's always a fun event to promote. Lots of everyone gives such great effort and does all the work, and then I get the opportunity to promote it. So it's nice.
And Marissa.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to add other than my reports. If you have any questions about that, I think I just wanted to take the time to acknowledge that we are losing one of our team members from our admin team, Kate Demeester Lane. Her last day is tomorrow. So we're, sad but excited for her for new opportunities in the future. And I just wanted to acknowledge all the work that she's done for our library system. She's been an incredible member of our admin team. She's done amazing work around intellectual freedom in the community and among our staff as well, and has been a big support for our teams internally. She oversees our collections team, our tech services, our CERT, our internal IT, and our delivery team. She also supports all those, and so I'm just wanted to thank her publicly for all the work she's done. We're gonna miss her experience and her expertise, and also just the kindness that she's shown to staff and the community all these years. So thank you.
Thanks, Marisa.
Joy is a cup.
Thank you, I will.
Thanks. Anything else? Any questions for Marissa? All right. Colleen.
Okay. So a quick update on the Richard W. S. Mission Library. We have a tentative date for opening of April 20th, 2026. You can't remember it. Okay, moving on. Our public services LSM managers, library services managers, and the web team have been working really hard, and actually the communications systems office. Yep, thank you. Have been working really hard, getting us ready for our transition to our new internal platform intranet, basically where we have all our content that staff accessed, like trainings, just all sorts of things, knowledge-based articles that we share, reviewing the content and determining what we're gonna transfer over. So it's a lot of work. And it's coming, but we're really excited because it's gonna, don't you ever get frustrated when you're like in this page and then you put a keyword and nothing pops up? Yeah, so we're doing that. So we're really excited about that, providing like better internal customer service to our staff. And then just the last thing I want to share is that our safety and security manager, Lindy, has been working really hard also evaluating and kind of rebalancing the
safety and security, taking a look at what the needs are at our branches in terms of safety and security. And like any good book in the series, I'm gonna leave you with a cliffhanger because she will come and present all about it. Good, moving on. Yes. She will be here in her another meeting to tell you all about that. And that's a work that she'll continue to do annually and if anything comes up. That's it.
All right. Any questions for Paulina?
So what's the plan for Trinity? Open.
It's gonna be a soft opening. You know, let staff settle in. They're working there right now and, you know, getting familiar with the building and also just kind of working out the kinks. And then, of course, we'll have the grand celebration. Yeah, and probably sooner. Too soon. Yeah. You'll get an invitation. Invitation in the mail.
Always a nice.
I told my dad, was like, is it open? I saw a bunch of cars still there. Like, sorry, Dad, I'm not.
Is the parking lot gonna get resurfaced or?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
already done. Yeah, looks good. Looks really good.
All right. Isai?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I want to introduce myself. Isai Centeno. I've been with Benham County, over 8 years. All that time I've been with finance. But during that time, I oversaw the library as one of my departments. I oversaw 17 departments. So libraries was one of them, along with other major players. But it gave me a different perspective being on that side of the fence versus being on this side of the fence. Within a month, I've been able to see so great things that the community engagement and the we are intricate with the community. So I'm in awe of everything. And the more I dig, the more I find out. And these numbers have a story to these numbers. You know, that side you see just the millions of dollars and numbers here, numbers there. But on this side, you see what those numbers are tied to, you know, what effect in the society it has. So I'm glad that I'm on this side. I'll give the opportunity to work with such a great staff. And I'm just trying to understand where all the information lives to bring it together. One question that I do have, I mean, don't have much to add to the report that we provide for you, but going forward, I want to be able to provide information, data that's appealing to you. That what are done in other departments, being able to bring our budget, our forecast, our actuals, bring together in a simple report. So the advisory knows where we stand financially at any given point. So every period, every month, we can meet, we give an update of where we're at and what our projections are. I want to know if that's something you were interested in to see, and we can tweak it. I'll give you an example next time we meet. Because we meet every month. So next month, I can bring an example. I can present it, and you can all say, check it and decide. Want a little more information of this or not so much relevant, and we can tweak it so you can all have a little clear picture of where we stand financially. Because we do have a lot of information, but I think regarding the budget, it would be nice for you guys to know where we stand.
Well, I noticed in your report that you did include budget forecasting, you know, showing you.
That's a little information
I
on
think
that.
that's very interesting to see. I don't know if we'd ever seen that before, but I like it.
Yeah, and like how percent with other departments, they really, other advisory reports, they really like that report because they're able to see it in snapshot where we stand. And if questions come up, we can discuss them at that point, or we can bring back and table some of the questions that you guys have, and we can dig more into them. This is a nice, clean report that can be able to let us know where we stand.
Good, and I liked the way Anthony kept us up to speed about hiring.
Yes.
And he just had a good, good grasp of where in the budget year we were. That'd be very helpful.
Well, definitely. 100% that. So, besides that, I've been working on that, and next time we meet, we'll present that. So, besides, I have no much, to add. Oh, that's one more thing. I did used to work at that old Wells Fargo. I was in the private sector, I've been in financial, 20 years.
Never get away from.
You can take us on the tour.
I'll tell you the post. This.
Oh. Are they on?
Talk about the scouts.
Yeah.
That's my wish.
It would just be weird if you wound up in the same. Yes. Certainly it will be different. Thank you very much, and it's wonderful to have you here.
That is all.
All right, and Ted.
Over there. Here.
So there's no ghosts. Or the Wells Fargo building. Yeah. I just want to add really quickly, just with respect to Isai, one thing that is really interesting about the work that he did when he was sort of on the finance side. The county has a really great system where they have departmental finance analysts that sort of help us manage our budget internally. And then they also have the external, the finance-based analysts that basically support the people who are doing the departmental work. So it's almost like a second tier of like protection and support around making sure that the budget is being analyzed from different perspectives and that there isn't sort of any risk of someone making, a more serious, impactful error. And so Isai was responsible for the team of people that did that for like every department at one point or another. So it's a really great type of expertise for us to have.
Yeah,
So we're just we're glad that he came over across the street.
Two rows.
I just want to mention a few things. I know a lot of people have talked about the Tucson Festival of Books, but I had never been before. And it was just so amazing to see the scope and the level of involvement, but so impressive to see the tireless work on the part of the staff that produced the program, and the fact that there were 10 different panels with multiple authors and some of the most well-attended sessions that I saw, just walking around when I wasn't sitting down and trying to drink a lot of water. I just thought that the fact that they had so well identified, what would be interesting to people, what was relevant, that was also, I think, a really wonderful thing to see. And now I understand why they are working on this literally all year round, in addition to everything else. And it was also great to see the foundation there and have your presence there. Another thing I just wanted to mention was we did have the Public Library Association's biannual conference occurred in Minneapolis. And so I was there last week. It was snowing and it's a very different kind of environment. But I have to say it was an excellent conference. One of the reasons I wanted to go was because I wanted to sort of investigate more around library technology developments. Because we will eventually be putting out an RFP for RFID and RFID upgrade, which will sort of improve our materials handling and automate some activities that staff are currently doing manually. Like I really wanted to get a sense of what was in the market right now. And there's been a lot of innovation in these kinds of products. So that made me feel really hopeful. And there's also been a lot of innovation in terms of making these products more accessible. Even just like having the checkout stands for books for self-checkout, have accessibility features, and you can sort of raise and lower the height of the stand. And there's like some that are becoming more voice command oriented. So it was really inspiring and good to see. Also a lot of different like innovations in terms of book lockers that seem like they function. I'll think of it. But like maybe a different type of product, so that was exciting. I was also investigating vendors, you know, another thing we just need to acknowledge about Kate and her leadership over the past year was really like making sure that we got through this period of losing our primary vendor. And so one of the things that I was trying to do was understand like who is emerging as a potential vendor, or which vendors are emerging as potential partners for the library. It was also really good to see that the content being presented, some of it was stuff that our staff here are already kind of doing or already thinking about. So for example, there were some presentations on how to update, you know, rules of conduct to be more like community agreements with people, to be sort of more interactive and restorative, and not just simply a list of rules. And that's something that, you know, our colleague Libby has already been working on. So it was nice to see that we're definitely kind of up with those trends. There was a workshop on what to do when ICE comes to the library, or, you know, I think because the conference was in Minneapolis, there was a lot of discussion about that. And that was also stuff that I think that we've all been working on or thinking about internally. So it was overall, I think, really inspiring. And also heartening just to see that the staff here, like the level of innovation and creativity, I think it's really just, you know, not competitive, but comparable, right? On the national scale, and hopefully we'll be able to sort of apply some of those lessons that I picked up. You know, maybe we'll be able to incorporate some of that here. So it was a good experience, and I was glad to be able to do that. I also just wanted to acknowledge, Penny mentioned that I'm going to be able to go to the Friends meeting, the Friends recognition meeting on Saturday. But for everybody who is not going to the Friends meeting, there is going to be a very cool program. I don't want to put you on the spot, but for the Dia de las Niñas, I'm used to thinking of it as Dia del Niño, but that's like, we're moving away from the gender. And there's gonna be a really great program that Marisa's team basically produced and Nuestras Raíces produced.
Yeah, it's gonna be at the Peace Garden. We're gonna work with, staff from Valencia. They already have a monthly, I think it's pretty much a monthly program out there, and so we kind of hopped on that and expanded it a little bit. So we'll be giving out books, there'll be a story time. And you know, we're really working towards, this is gonna be like a signature event, but we're really working towards having more events next year. And like having all of our branches participate in some way during the month of April. So it could be as small as a story time to like a larger community event. So we're really, that's kind of what we've been talking to staff about, like get ready for that. Start planning, you know, working with Isai to kind of think about budget for next year to support that as well. So we're excited. We've always done something in the community. Usually, the last couple of years, we've been working with the Galeria Mitotera to do this event, but
They're wonderful.
we switched a little bit, tried something different, really wanted to kind of highlight our branch staff that have been doing this already. Yeah.
But I mean, I participated at a program that I Peace Garden last year. And I guess what I want to say is that there's a lot of organizations that definitely want to partner with the libraries that way, where we take on the cost. I mean, we have our conference group who is very generous with our outreach activities. And so we'd be happy to participate, especially like right now where we're talking about National Parks Week.
I know we've talked about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's talk about this for next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that way we can ease a little bit of the burden on the budget as well. And kind of take on the cost. We just need space.
Yeah.
And I think that's really I mean, I think we would be interested in that. There's a bunch of younger, you know, serving organizations like the Cooper Center and a bunch of other folks that would be willing to come out. Iowa Tree Experience does some amazing work. You know, it's amazing. And they have a really solid donor base. So they're really interested in doing this kind of building that environmental acumen.
That would be great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I also just wanted to make sure, and Laura, we can pass them around the table. But I had forgot to bring these in, and Laura brought them in here for us. They're just our annual report, and so we want to give you a copy. You're welcome to take another copy if there's, you know, an entity that you want to share it with. We will also be distributing them to the supervisors separately, so you don't need to worry about that. But thank you to Renee, Carolina, Holly. I'm trying to think of who else produces the annual report, but they work really hard on this.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really great. Not a picture,
We got like children,
the cutest picture.
children's book.
The dog
Beautiful.
in the Read to a Dog story, the dog on the front is, his name is Finn. And he belongs to, our colleague Morgan Daniels, who is now, I think, working at Nini. She used to manage the El Rio Library, but she's now, at Nini, but her mother is the handler. And I'll tell you, that was a blast, go back and.
Yeah, so he's an
Yeah, he
actual
was
dog.
at return job, and then he retired, but.
Oh.
He says retired.
See, no, Tyler?
I've been retired. Yeah, he says retired.
Oh, yeah, this was a great, this such a great online presentation, yeah. That's what you forget.
I'm retired. That's so cute.
All right, any questions for Tess?
Can we get a annual report if us online people?
Yeah, absolutely. We will send you a report. Yeah, thanks for noting that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other items? Or is there a motion to adjourn? That we adjourn? Those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for the information.
So we have a different.
I was about to say.
I was like, what the hell we're doing?